Hello everybody, it's Ryan here, and I am going to be talking about the stuff that was announced in the Pokémon Presents today. I'm going to kind of just go rapid fire based on some of the things that I care a little bit less about, but I want to give attention to, and then kind of give my thoughts on the things that are more exciting. First and foremost, I got baited. I got baited so hard into thinking that we were getting Mystery Dungeon because there were supposedly leaks found on the Pokémon Presents website in the source code showing credits to Spike Chunsoft who developed the Mystery Dungeon games. I guess this might have been from like Rescue Team DX and just wasn't changed. So yeah, that stinks. But I shouldn't judge the presents based on what's not there and judge based on what is there. So, you know, I am disappointed, but, you know, I believe it's coming eventually, new Mystery Dungeon, whether it's an Explorers remake or a new game. Anyway, we started off with Unite, I believe. No, actually, I lied. They talked about some of the trading card game stuff, and they have this new premium product called Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic, which I kind of hope is the beginning of a new format with like kind of basic era Pokemon, kind of like how Yu-Gi-Oh has GOAT format. It seems like it's just a premium product. I hope it goes past that. I think it'd be cool to have it as a separate format. And then they talk about a new stop-motion show coming to Netflix, Pokemon Concierge. Seems really cute. Seems kind of more like a slice of life. And they showcase a little stop-motion Psyduck. And I made a joke that I really liked, that the source of Psyduck's headaches aren't his like psychic powers, it's working customer service. So that's going to be cute. I'm going to be looking out for that. Then they talk about Pokemon Unite, and they're adding Zacian. And the whole section of this, like the mobile games, 90% of these were data mined beforehand, so they weren't a surprise at all. And we also know information that they didn't talk about here. Pokemon Unite spoilers ahead, and then when I get to Masters EX, I'm also going to talk about that. So spoilers for that, I'll also mark that. But alongside Zacian, we are also going to be getting Goodra and Lapras as like the next two characters coming out. Those have been data mined. So it was cool to see Zacian. He looks really cool. I literally just re-downloaded Unite. I'm going to pick it back up. Charizard mains for the win. But yeah, so like it wasn't a surprise, and we know like the next two big surprises that they're going to have for that. Then they talk about Cafe Remix, which has new events, which, you know, cool. It is a fun game. It is also a game that I've started and stopped and started and stopped, just because I have a limit of the amount of like mobile-esque games that I'm playing at one time. Nothing bad about it. It's just not in my rotation. Masters EX is adding Hop, Bead, and Marnie ults with their Galarian legendary birds. Hop has Zapdos, Bead has Articuno, and Marnie has Moltres, which are cool. Again, these were data mined. These are our anniversary events for the 3.5-year anniversary. I'm still trying to pull for the Volcanion Lysander, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull for these unless we get a lot more gems. I mean, they did also announce we're getting 100 summons and 3,000 gems, which is just a 10 pull. And you also get a ticket to get one of the champions, which I thought I had all of them, but I realized I didn't have Diantha because Diantha is super forgettable. So that's neat. I still need to look at where the 100 summons are because I didn't see those when I was going through. But also we know some more stuff from data mines that Pokemon Masters EX spoilers. We are getting Ball Guy, which is very fun. It gives me big energy reminiscent of the Gatekeeper being added to Fire Emblem Heroes and then Fire Emblem 3 Hopes thereafter. So I love this trend of like meme characters getting more of their fill. So that's cool. He's going to have a voice, and I can't wait to hear it. It's going to be great. Then we go on to Scarlet and Violet. This Scarlet and Violet covered the rest of the presentation. We are getting new Terra raids today for Paradox Virizion and Paradox Suicune, being Iron Leaves and Walking Wake, and they are Grass and Psychic, and then Water Dragon respectively. And Suicune is for Scarlet and Virizion's for Violet, but you can go onto the online Poke Portal and you can join either raid, but you'll only find the version exclusive raid in your game. This is cool. The design, so I do prefer the designs of the drawings where it's like a combined version of all three of that selected like a group, like Legendary Beasts and the Musketeers. Suicune did put me off at first, being bipedal, but now that I'm like looking at it more and like I'm okay with it. I kind of like it. Virizion is about what I would expect for like robotic Virizion. It's just robotic Virizion, so okay, cool. Grass Psychic is interesting. It is also very weak to Bug, which is why Scizor is a very good counter to it. And I'll let you know, I did an Iron Leaves raid right before recording this, and Scizor is the way to go. And fuck anybody who's bringing a Zoomerl to these raids, because why? Why? I've not done a Suicune raid yet, but I want to. I just need to get in there, and I'm going to be trying after I get off of recording this. So we got those, and interestingly, they are not part of the DLC. They're in the game now, as well as the 1.2.0 update, which has the functionality updates like this. It's the same patch notes as we got a few days ago. There's some new PC functionality. They've lightened the load a bit on the Pokemon in the overworld so that performance can help A, be better, and B, not cause crashes, which is good. They specify that there are more fixes that they aren't listing in these patch notes. I assume they're for kind of back-end help performance kind of stuff. One thing I noticed in the raid so far with Iron Leaves is that there was just a point in time, it could just be a server thing because a lot of people are jumping on at the same time. There was like this period of like 15 to 20 seconds in between a turn where like nothing straight was happening and the timer was still running. It was very weird. I'm just going to chalk it up to literally everybody's trying to get in these raids right now. And once it gets back down to like a normal state, that will cease. But that was something I noticed. So that's a thing. And then I'm just getting back up to my notes. They talked about how Scarlet and Violet now are integrated with Go. And you can now send postcards that, like you send gifts to other players. You can send those to Scarlet and Violet. And that will unlock other patterns of Vivillon, which depends on the actual like region of the postcard that you send, which is really cool because Vivillon is a very unique Pokemon that only has like one pattern available in Scarlet and Violet. So getting to unlock more of those is really nice. I'm going to be checking that out. And also, you can send over the roaming form Gimmighoul, which is cool, but only cool like on paper because it doesn't do anything different than like the normal Gimmighoul. And you're going to evolve it into Goldango anyway, so I guess it could just be an alternate method of getting the coins. So, I don't know. I mean, I want to see, like, it'll be usable in battle, so that's cool, I guess, but it's not, like, huge. They confirmed that integration with Home is still coming in early 2023, so I would say within the next, like, 2 months or so, I would say. We are still getting the like 99 to 100 Pokemon when Home does get updated in. So that'll bring our total to like 500 total Pokemon in the Dex. Give or take if you count like the Genie forms and such as unique Pokemon, which I don't. I think if you did, the total is like 107 Pokemon coming back. But not counting those, it's 99. And then we got news on the new DLC, which is coming in 2 waves, just like Sword and Shield's DLC did. And this is interesting because we got a lot. It's called the, Hidden Treasures of Area Zero. The first part of it is coming in the fall, and the second part of it is coming in the winter. Now, this is very interesting because compared to how Sword and Shield's DLC launched, the Isle of Armor launched in, I believe, June. So, like, summer. Very beginning of summer. And then Crown Tundra was in the winter, I believe. So we're getting more time for them working on this DLC, which is a good thing. I'm okay that it's not coming out until the fall. And I'm also okay with them coming out a little bit closer together so we can, like, get that kind of back-to-back nature of it. This is important because the expansion is sold as a bundle, and it is $5 more than the Sword and Shield expansion, which I know is going to make people mad on Twitter because they're not looking into things. But I do think that both of these DLCs are going to be meatier than the Isle of Armor. I would say they're probably going to be as meaty as Crown Tundra is, but there's going to be 2 of them. So I'm fine with them charging for the value of the expansion. Obviously, it's possible that they could both be like 2-hour things, but I don't think that they are going to be with how late that they're coming out, or at least how late the first one's coming out. The first DLC, the Teal Mask, is set in a very Japanese style area where it said that you're taking a school trip to. Now, if you haven't noticed, Paldea is based around Spain. Spain ain't Japan, so it's possible that this field trip we're going to resides within a region we've been to before. Obviously, it's not going to be like, we're going to Ecruteak City, but based on this, and based on the recent kind of Johto love with the like evolutions and such that are in Scarlet and Violet, like Dunsparce and Overquill and whatnot in Legend Arceus, I do think that this area that we're going to in the Teal Mask might take place in Johto, which would be cool. Because of the Japanese influence on the area, the clothing that you're wearing is very reminiscent of like the kimono girls. We have these like Power Rangers masks of sorts of the new Pokemon, because yes, there's new Pokemon that they revealed. There's 5 new Pokemon. I'll go over that in just a moment. And we have these new characters. Their names are Carmine, or Carmine, and Kieran, or Kieran, you know. These seem to be like the central characters in both DLCs because they appear in both DLCs. And that's really good, because that means we're going to get some story integration. There's going to be callbacks of sorts. And then here we have 4 new Pokemon for the Teal Mask. We have, we have Okidogi, which is a very cool, like, Tanuki-like Pokemon, who looks kind of like Zarude in a sense, but obviously the Japanese kind of inspiration of Tanuki that's going to, like, play into it. Definitely bringing back, like, Johto-esque vibes. Then we got Fezandipity, kind of like a Serendipity, and Okidoki is like Okidoki kind of thing. I like these puns. And then the last one is Monkey Dory, like Hunky Dory. Monkey Dory is a little too vertical for my liking. He's very vertical. But the others I am down for. And blue, red, green being a trio is like a thing that kills all the time in Pokemon. Interested to learn more about them. And then we have the kind of main legendary of this wave, Ogerpon, who is the Teal Mask. Very interestingly, again, we have another grass legendary, who is the header of these, which is interesting because, well, I guess Zarude wasn't the header of Isle of Armor, but I know Urshifu is, but like Zarude is kind of also, because he was like unveiled around that time, and he's like Grass Dark, and then Calyrex is Grass Psychic, and this is Grass something, who also has very kind of like Zarude aspects of him. I'm interested to learn more, but he is probably tied with Monkey Dory for my least favorite, but obviously I don't know anything about him. And then the second DLC wave, which is very interesting, called the Indigo Disc. We get pictures of the main characters in really cool outfits. I would say probably the first cool outfits in Scarlet Violet. Then we have the Carmine and Kieran, who also have cool outfits and are very reminiscent. They look to me like, I got like a gold Ethan sort of vibe from them, but it's very noticeable that this is not in the same area as the DLC Wave 1. This is on a like island in the water, which I assume will be in the northeastern where like the theorized Kalos was supposed to be. It looks like we're having like a grand Elite Four of sorts, because we have 4 new characters You have this guy with like the white and purple hair, the girl with the screws on the end of her hair, kind of like if she's like a steel type-ish trainer. Then we have like the red-haired boy with the orange tones, and then we have the girl with the pink hair and the kind of like diamond hair clips of sorts. So they're interesting. I think they're going to be some form of like toughest battles in the Paldea region, because the main like focus is like an arena. So I'm curious of what the story is going to be like. And then we get a new Pokemon, Terrapagos, kind of like Galapagos and Terastallization, because this is our third legendary. This is the kind of hexagonal-esque Pokemon. Its back plate has like all of the types on it and these different like panels. It is like a turtle-esque like Pokemon with like this fur, or like sea foam-esque. I keep saying esque because it's like not exactly one specific thing, but on the very back pinnacle of its back is the shape of the Terra Crystal. There is very interesting things with this. Now, its name, Terrapagos, is 9 letters long, and you might be thinking like, oh, well, but the book that talked about this disc-like Pokemon has only 6 letters in its name based on the entry in the Scarlet and Violet book. But I did see this post on Twitter yesterday that I can't find now, but I will explain what it said, and if you were the original poster of the tweet, let me know, I'll credit you. But it said that the squares that censor the letters in this book aren't censoring specifically one character, or not just one character. Because if you look at the actual book entry, there are times where it is censoring one letter, and there are times when it's censoring 2 letters. If we look at the image here, it says, while separated from the research. Now, taking a look at this first sentence, in the word separated, the letters A and R are blocked out. And research, the letter C is blocked out. Even in the title, a disc Pokemon, with the D in the disc is being censored out, that's 1 letter. But for Pokemon, we have O and K being censored out. So these square censors aren't just like a one-to-one censoring, and that was something that I didn't catch in my theory video. So it's very possible that it is split up. Something like this. I'm not saying this is the exact way that it's censored, but this is some form of that. It could be where it's a mixture of 1 and 2 characters being censored out, so Terrapagos would fit. Is that kind of stupid? Yes. I think it's kind of dumb to make the implication of this is what Pokemon's name could be, and then like kind of hide that like, oh, this could actually be 1 or 2 characters, teehee. But then again, it was here in the journal that it could have been 1 or 2 characters, and we just didn't notice. So that's on us. That's on me. And then after that, we got news that some more Pokemon were going to be coming with each wave, just like in Sword and Shield. For the Teal Mask, some of the families, this isn't comprehensive, this isn't all of them that are coming back. Some of the families that are coming back are the Chingling families, that's Chingling Chimecho, the Shiftry line, the Milotic line, the Yanmai line, the Vikavolt line, and the normal Ninetales line. And for the Indigo Disc, Zebstrika has been freed from his prison. I believe this is the first time Zebstrika is going to be in a game since X and Y. I mean, he could transfer him in to like Gen 7, but he wasn't available Gen 8, so he's back. And then we got Alcremie. Whimsicott's back, so Murkrow is going to decrease in usage like crazy. Metagross family is back, Dugong is back, and the Esper line is back. And after this, from kind of like news outlets, we learned that there's going to be approximately 230 Pokemon returning in both waves of the DLC. Like 230 combined, not like 230 for Wave 1, 230 for Wave 2. Which means that with the Pokemon coming in from Pokemon Home, and after the DLC is out, we're going to have about 730 Pokemon in this game, which is more than we had in Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield has, I believe, the final count was 634 after its DLC came out and all of its Pokemon were added back in. So we have proportionally about the same amount, but we have more overall, which is very nice. And that means that the dream for Sandshrew to come back is still alive. He needs to come back. My boy needs to come back. Now, alongside with the DLC being added to the eShop now, they added a pre-order bonus. If you get the DLC ordered, then you will get a serial code to get a Hisuian Zoroark added to your game early, so like before the home update comes out. So that's cool. I love Hisuian Zoroark. And there were a few things that I wanted to add. Oh yeah, so people have already data mined into the data. They found what shiny Iron Leaves and shiny Walking Wake look like. They're cool, and they kind of look expected. Like Iron Leaves looks how a future Paradox Pokemon would, or shiny Pokemon would look, and Walking Wake looks like how a shiny Suicune that looks like this would look like. It has the same colors. So yeah, that's cool, but they are shiny locked, so that is a no. So don't try to shiny hunt them. Next, we have a map of stuff related to the Indigo Disc. This is very interesting. I see things. There are certainly things. It looks like it's going to take place on its own land mass, so it's not just like an island. The island stadium might be a thing that you see on the main map, but it looks like we're exploring a new world. Some other last-minute things. The online/multiplayer matches now have a 60-minute timer. This is really good, because the 20 minutes was way too short. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up is that this information was leaked on a 4chan post. There were a ton of these 4chan posts about these Pokemon Presents, and of course most of them were bullshit. This one was leaked, and it has a little bit of information that wasn't talked about today. So if you don't want to hear that, spoilers ahead. The post is machine translated to English. The person who wrote it is not a native English speaker, so take everything with a grain of salt. This person says they are a programmer at Pokemon outsourcing company. So they aren't working directly for Pokemon, but they work for a company that Pokemon outsources information to. Their English is very poor, so they use machine translation to complete the post. The theme of the DLC is Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, which is the exact name, and Hexagon, kind of like the Terrapagos Pokemon. Version 1.2.0 includes dressable clothes as a reward for the DLC purchasers, which is a thing that happened. That also is true. You do get clothes for buying the DLC. They're not fantastic. They're just, it's what it is. I didn't care about it, so I didn't even mention it. Will include, then they give a machine translation of the Paradox Pokemon's names. These are Paradox Suicune and Paradox Virizion, and it gives their types. Then it talks about a mystery Pokemon with a green mask, that is Ogerpon. Special terrestrial appearance, so that is Terrapagos. And the third legendary is a large blue turtle. We see that as confirmed. Now, the next part is the very important one. We are working on a graphics enhancement patch for the new Nintendo Switch models that will be released alongside DLC 2. So, this could mean one of two things. It seems like they are working on increased visual fidelity and performance throughout the time being, like they say they are. In addition to that work that is going into like the performance and the graphics and such, when DLC Wave 2 hits, there's going to be a bundle that includes, it doesn't necessarily need to be a bundle, but around the same time there's going to be a new Nintendo Switch model. And this graphics patch is going to help improve and increase the visual quality of the game on these models. Now, this could be a new form of OLED, or this could be like the Nintendo Switch 2. I am thinking more it'll be a themed OLED, because even though it is like around the time when like word of the next console would be starting to happen, we still have some games left in the Switch's life. I think they're going to wait until 2024. And I mean, it's possible that this person just kind of like Switch 2, but I'm thinking it might be OLED, or it might be just like it's like an intermediary between the Switch and the next Switch console. But we'll definitely keep an eye on this of whenever they announce like new stuff around DLC Wave 2. That's about it. I obviously, I'm like a little disappointed that it wasn't Kalos and like my theory didn't come true. But you know, that's the thing of theories, is most of the time they're not going to come true. It's just fun to see connections where you see them and see how new information changes those theories. Obviously, I think a lot of my theories still kind of work. Like a lot of the connections between the legendary weapon and the flower and such, like those can still be relevant information. Even if specifically like Terapagos isn't related to Zygarde, or Area Zero has things that aren't related to like Kalos stuff. So we'll see, and there's definitely going to be like more lore for even out unrelated stuff in the new thing. Let me know your thoughts of the Pokemon Presents in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts and theories about both of these waves. Tell me if you have any preference toward Suicune or Virizion, and I will check you guys later.